So I should have done this way. Here we go. I had this whole thing mapped out in my head and it didn't work out. Wait. Here we go. So COVID-19 made the monkey wrench in your entire business machine, isn't it? Right? Look, I love connecting with people face to face, hugging it out, having meals together, just those impromptu connections, the ideas that are flying when people are connecting on different issues. I love having those, but unfortunately, right now, these are not very safe things to do, apparently. So, how do you connect with your clients? How do you host virtual events and do it in a way that still allows people to engage, deeply connect with each other, facilitate sharing ideas? Um, in short, make it as close to the in-person, belly-to-belly, toe-to-toe, real-life experience as possible, even though it's delivered virtually online. That's what today's episode of Revenue Rev Up TV is all about. I am yours truly, Adam Urbanski, and with me, as always, are the amazing, if I can just make them appear, that would be awesome. Ta-da, here we go. They're amazing. They're amazingly speechless, both of them.
I'll start. Bo Urbanski, aka the connector, the glue that holds it all together. And off to you, Lisa.
And I'm Lisa Benavides, the enforcer who makes sure people stay in line and do what they're supposed to be doing.
Love it. Of course, you're watching the Revenue Rev Up TV. You know, the whole idea got started when we have our team meetings, and there's just a lot of good-hearted banter, a lot of fun back and forth conversations, but we also dive kind of irreverently, but we dive into all sorts of business topics. And one day we had this eureka moment, go like, hello, why don't we let people see behind the scenes a little bit? And thus the Revenue Rev Up TV was born. And as I like to call it, we provide marginally helpful marketing advice with questionable entertainment value, all mixed in about 45, 60 minutes of just something that, if you got nothing better to do, stick with us. And we just might make your day. You never know. So topic today, how to create successful virtual retreats. And again, we thought about it. I'm going to just appear for myself here. We talked about it because we just completed our second virtual retreat for our clients this year. We run a high-level mastermind program called Masters Forum. And 3 times a year, we get together, usually in person, where we not only get to really connect deeply, discuss all sorts of business issues, provide all sorts of, training that's timely, but also do a bunch of fun things. Unfortunately, this is the second event this year where we needed to do it virtually. And we learned a lot. First time, it was kind of impromptu. We didn't have any choice. We had to switch to virtual. This time we had a little bit more time planning. Admittingly, we could have done an even better job doing this. But essentially what we want to do is walk you through how we did that. All right. As always, Lisa, I want to talk about our amazing calls to action for folks.
Yes, and we have a quick announcement. So we have lots of cool ideas, tips, and things like that we share, or like Adam says, it's questionable value. But when you use the hashtag GOLD, 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 and then state your aha, your takeaway, or anything that's jumping out to you as valuable and not questionable, share it in the comments and we will send you a book. We'll get a chance to win a book. And yes, Adam, I pulled it out. This is Adam's book, Fastest Path to Cash. And for everyone who comments gold with their takeaway, we will do a little bit of a raffle and announce the winner next week. So for last week's show, our winner is Amy McNaughton. So Amy, hopefully.
Amy.
Yes, and if you are, let us know, reach out to us in private message and we will get this baby over to you. We also have our Rapid Cashing Clients Guide. That's really cool. That has helped our clients and non-clients that have grabbed it some great results. So if you want that baby, just use the hashtag RAPID and we will hook you up with that. And then finally, if you want some more information on Revenue Rev Up Intensive, which is our signature program where we take our clients to hit their revenues of the last 12 months in 12 weeks. And it's a fun game that we play. You can use hashtag RevUp, and we'll chat with you about what that looks like.
That is awesome. And of course, at any given time, we would love to know if you're just tuning in, where are you tuning in from? Just say hello in the name of a city. We'll give you a shout out. At any given point, when you make some smart or snarky or insulting comments, we'll get to feature you right on the front screen. Do we have any comments to feature? I don't see any. So somebody make some smart remarks. We'll feature you right away. And if you're watching a replay, go ahead and type in replay as well. We'd love to do that. We always come back and want to engage with you as much as possible. So today's topic, how to create virtual retreats in a COVID-19 world. Where do we even go with this? Where do we even go with this?
I don't know. It seems like the whole world switched to virtual events at some point. I think that it started, at least in my part of the world, and I'm pretty sure in other people's as well, with short meetings, the online cocktails and wine nights and dinner nights and whatever, and big meetings. And I'll start with some statistics in here because I'm your stats girl and facts girl. So obviously,
Yes.
one of the most popular platforms that we know of, Zoom, the usage within the few months of COVID has soared from 10 million meeting participants to 300 million participants as of April, and obviously their stock was skyrocketed at some point, making them a very rich company. And according to my research, Microsoft, that is another popular platform, said that on April it had 75 million daily active users and recorded 200 million meeting participants in a single day in April. Wow, that's incredible. There are also some, obviously, marketers are going into the research with meeting planners on, like what's going to happen post-COVID and how long it's going to go. We know, Adam, from our own kind of research, I think that you posted something on your Facebook asking our tribe who is going to participate in live meetings or no live meetings, and whooping majority, 90%, said no live meetings attendance or organizing through the end of 2020. So hence we hosted our virtual one, right?
Yeah,
but we got some more.
This was almost like public relations service because we have so many clients who wanted to do live events before the end of the year and going early into 2021. And I always take the approach that, like, who am I to tell people what to do? But I was definitely concerned. And we have two clients that switched from planning live events in person. They switched to virtual events. And, so the public service post was really, would you organize or attend the live event right now before the end of 2020? And I think that about 95% of the responses would definitely, like, no way, Jose.
Yeah. So, what I found out is that actually 7 out of 10 respondents, which are event producers, moved their face-to-face events partially or fully to virtual platform, and they don't see it as a short-term fix. So it might be, maybe a hybrid in the future, whatever. And 87% of event marketers said that they have canceled, and 66% postponed their events. And we're talking about some pretty big events, SWSX by Southwest, and like some pretty big events. Now, another cool thing that I found out is that people are actually taking opportunity of using this virtual event phenomena to be super creative with all kind of different things and hybrids and just rocking it. I can see that we have Linda Kane, who is the event manager extraordinaire with Blue Diamond, and she is rocking it on virtual events, right?
Totally.
It includes learning different platforms, obviously, but we know quite a few people who are moving along with that and just producing phenomenal shows. Yes, introducing even like live performance that they would hire the stage, do the performers, and streamline it, and have hundreds of attendees. So it is here to stay. And according to my resources, Statista and Bizabao, we are looking at virtual events staying here through 2021 and beyond. I think that there's no point of return.
Well,
here.
I think that the virtual events were slowly creeping into our lives as it is, right?
True.
Lots of events were broadcasting live from the, having an in-person event and broadcasting live.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that it's, our first live event that was broadcasted was it 2010, 2011?
It was 2012.
2012. Wow, later than I thought.
Yeah.
So, but we had a hybrid where we had a very small audience inside the studio, but major focus was we literally had, I think, a dozen people inside the studio, and the major focus was broadcasting it to the audience out there. But, what was different about our event, that the broadcasting to the world was not an afterthought, but it was actually like structuring the entire event so that it could be extremely engaging and holding the attention of an online viewer. And I think today it's even more important because the average online viewer has an even shorter attention span that it was in 2012 or so. Anyway, a couple of shout outs. So Linda, I was doing your shout out, giving you a shout out. Linda, check your DM. I actually send you a link if you want to join us for a minute, if you've got something smart to say, which is obviously questionable in this crowd, but we'll give it a try. And then Wendy, tuning in from Huntington Beach, but saying, I like
Wendy.
And Wendy is the producer as well, because she's, doing the wedding. So what's happening now with that, right?
Interesting to see again, like those two names, because Wendy is like one of the biggest names in kind of unique ethnic wedding industry, right? Producing really, 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 really big weddings. So that's not happening right now. How do people deal with this? In fact, I sort of had a secondhand wedding invitation to attend in a couple of weeks, and I pondered long and hard, and I'm going to decline because, I just had another friend who said, well, we went to a family event, came back, and everybody got sick with COVID. I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing that. Anyway, rambling here a little bit. If you're just tuning in, what's happening here? We're supposed to talk about this amazing thing called online retreats, how to make them successful. And essentially, because we just hosted our second one, we're going to go through and break down what we did, like from planning, what platform we used, how we actually used, what's the process of facilitating a two-day event, and then maybe a couple of things that we've learned and may want to do differently in the future. So, shall we get to it?
Yes,
we shall.
We shall. Yeah, we should. And at one point we shall. But when? We'll see. It happens when it happens. All right. Wendy, let's see. What's going on here? I saw another comment. Wendy and Linda collaborating on a new project, the International Association of Virtual Event Professionals. Say what? Oh, yeah. Going. All right. That will be another baby born in our programs. I like that. Maybe not a human baby, but still a baby. All right, so I want to talk about how we prepped for it, all right? And Lisa, Bo, do you want to cue me up a little bit for this, or should I just kind of ramble on? I've got some topics I want to cover, but is there anything specific that you think would be of high value and high interest to our audience when it comes to prepping or planning?
Yeah, I think so. And I think the prep and planning for this particular retreat was, from all of us. So Adam, you focused on more of like the schedule and the experience at the event, and Bo and I were able to connect with every one of our clients to really listen to what kind of experience they wanted so that we could actually create it. And it was so valuable. And this, again, is for a high-end mastermind group. So it's not like we were having an event for hundreds of people. That might be a little bit harder to do, but maybe through a survey kind of a thing would work. But I think the connection to hear what your audience and your clients want is huge.
Yeah. So actually, you know what? Maybe the two of you could chat for just a minute about when you did connect. And obviously, these are our high-end clients. There are fewer of them. Just like you said, if we had hundreds or even thousands of virtual attendees, we would probably use a survey, make it less personal. But in this case, you both facilitated the high touch personal outreach. So what would be some questions people could ask in advance planning a retreat?
So the questions we asked were, what are you focusing on right now that you want to bring to the retreat to get some feedback and support with? And what kind of support you need. We also asked them about topics, and this was really interesting, I think, right, Bo? Because we have an idea in our mind of what they should hear about or learn about, but listening to what they actually needed was, I think, really eye-opening.
Right, and although we had a variety of topics, I think that the areas of interest were pretty similar throughout the spectrum and throughout all the people that we connected with, right, within our group. So this allowed us to narrow it down to some specific areas that could be discussed, maybe during this retreat and maybe in the future in our touch points that we have on monthly basis, also virtually, right?
Yeah, exactly. So we obviously can't just tell or bring everything that they wanted into our 2-day retreat, but it also gave us really good insight to what we could create for them going forward over the next few months. And that was really helpful. And our Masters Forum has some fun treats that we are bringing into their community that they're going to be excited about.
And it really is listening to what people want. I liked how you phrased it, Lisa, that, it's like we have an idea in our head, but it might be a little bit different from what specifically people are looking for and what would be helpful for them.
Right.
Love it. So, like on from my perspective, like I tend to be the big picture guy. And then, fortunately, I've got support of like Lisa and Bo who can fill in some of the details. But the big picture guy, big picture points are obviously if you do something like this, you've got to determine the dates. And then you've got to determine the hours. So that's and you want to tell people as far in advance as you can, obviously when it's happening and then what hours should they block out. In fact, I just registered for the event that's happening later at the end of this month, also 2 days. And what I appreciated right away is having again, big picture guy, big picture. Who's listening to me in the background? Stop it. But clear dates and then knowing exactly the time of the day when it will be happening, right? So for us, we chose 9 a.m. Pacific to 5 p.m. Pacific. Most of our clients are U.S. and Canada. So, Western through Eastern time zones. If we had people from different time zones like European and so on, we probably would have shifted it a little bit. But it seems that most people, even the West Coasters, prefer to start a little later. Like very few people want to start a retreat at 6 a.m. Those are the unicorns, like the crazy weirdos out there. Most people prefer to start even at like 10 a.m. But that really makes the schedule weird, especially for folks who are 3 hours early on the East Coast, right? So that's the first thing to consider. Second thing is creating, a schedule. So again, big picture for me first is just the major framework. So like we knew that we would have 5 sessions a day, 3 in the morning, break for lunch, 2 in the afternoon. And again, it's important, for example, why not do 2 sessions in the morning and then 3 sessions in the afternoon? I'll give you a major hint in here. Something happens physically to people when they eat lunch, right? The bodies start to consume the digested stuff. We get a little heavier, we get more tired. And as the day progresses, our attention span gets shorter and shorter. So it's actually better to do 3 sessions or even longer sessions in the morning and then shorten the sessions in the evening. And just to give you a quick look here is, how a breakdown. So we got a spreadsheet that sort of shows it up like, starting time, ending time, who is the speaker, what's the format? We will talk about this in a moment. Not every session is just teaching. Is there a topic? And then what really helps, you can see like this content details. I did this in detail for day 1. And then in day 2, I slacked a little bit and it showed because the entire event got a little out of hand for us, right? It's just, the schedule got out of whack because I wasn't clear how long each section will take. All right.
Yeah.
Any comments on that?
I was just going to say that having that time is really important, just like we try to do for this TV show as well, so that we stay within a time frame. It also just prevents like the filling of space just to fill space. You're more succinct in what you're sharing so that it actually becomes like a no fluff space. And it's just helpful for the overall feel of what everyone is experiencing. I think that you feel when people are just off whatever they're, just kind of going with the flow versus being very like structured in how they set things up.
Yeah.
I would add something, that having that schedule online and comparing it to live events, remember that, like we would have some kind of plan and schedule with Adam, but some of the session would go over. So
some of them,
the virtual is helping us out stay on time even better, because we have all insight, and we can also message and say, hey, like let's switch. So I think this virtual context, it's it's helpful for some things, keep it tighter. Yeah.
So a couple of things here on the prep part still that I think are valuable. Like one is setting expectations for your clients. So I'll actually share with you, like, again, a couple of screenshots in here where we would just send emails to people, again, letting them know what to expect, right? So setting the overall tone. And again, this is our second one, virtual. We focus on business. So obviously we talk about the fact that the world is kind of in this giant limbo, not necessarily knowing what's going on. But prep-wise, very important. Again, aside from schedule, telling people a little bit about the format, what to anticipate, some basic prep, but then going into detail. One last thing I want to share with you here is actually telling people a number of things, like preparing to eliminate distractions. It's normal that if you at your home, you may have family members that walk in and out. You may have children, right? Small children, they need to be taken care of. So you need to treat this as if you were to attend a live event. So coordinate some sort of support where someone else takes care of your family, and perhaps, dinners, meals, takes care of your children for that time. Literally instruct your clients, even though it's virtual, commit to it as if you were to fly out of town, book into the hotel, and spend 2 or 3 days attending a real event where there is no option to just like go and cook dinner for the family for an hour and disengage. So, but basically, I think we were pretty successful at enticing clients to commit full on. If they could, hey, spend 2 days with us solid, this is how it's going to work, right? And another thing is, teaching them about organizing their space, which is, if I'm a facilitator, I've got to be in my office chair. I actually do a lot of facilitation on the computer sitting down. Some of you have stand-up desks, so that may be cool. And so for clients, it may be hard to be in front of your computer on a desk all day long, right? It's just you physically get tired. So the instructions were prepare a comfy space. It doesn't have to be your office. It can actually be, a couch, wherever, just as long as it's quiet, as long as you can focus, as long as you can take notes and facilitate and participate with us. And the last thing, Bo, I wanted you to chime in on this and maybe talk a little bit about making it physical by actually sending gifts to people before the event.
So right, in the past, we would, in our first retreat, we sent journals, Masters Forum journals, and this time, because we were not able to meet in physical space, I just wanted to bring a little bit of the kind of spa or retreat feel. So I had arranged with my entrepreneur's concierge to send a package that included some kind of spa-feely like items, like a candle and some salts and cookies, and just an idea to bring something physical to the participants of the event. It can be a workbook, it can be whatever you choose to be. It can be, I don't know, survival kit. People have great ideas. This is what we did. We just sent a box that included some kind of spa-like items.
All right, very, very cool. So moving on, I want to come back to the process in a moment, how we facilitated this. But let's talk a little bit about the platform, because Each of our retreats was hosted on a different platform. So Lisa, do you want to chime into and talk a little bit about why we did it, kind of what we learned about each platform that might be useful to our audiences?
Yes. So while Zoom is pretty much the go-to place for these like live events or group calls even, and it has been even before this pandemic time, we at Marketing Mentors have had a little bit of trouble moving over to Zoom. And we've tried it, and then we like get frustrated and it's not working the way that we want to for certain aspects of our Revenue Rev Up program. So we've always used Blue Jeans. We love that it broadcasts to Facebook groups. We had a lot of abilities like on the back end to just be in control of the meeting, and it just worked well. And then Zoom started changing and was able to do a little bit more so that we would play around with it. And anyways, we finally moved it over for this last retreat. So instead of using Blue Jeans, we came to Zoom. And
so I've got to stop. I've got to like give Blue Jeans a shout out because most people don't know them. It's actually a very popular platform. Maybe not as popular as Zoom is right now because it was more corporation geared. But Zoom was the first platform that was actually allowing to live stream to Facebook, right? So when we started using it 5 years ago, four plus years ago, there was no other options. Like Blue Jeans was literally, it was so exciting when we were discovering it. Like, now we can actually like have this meeting and broadcast it right into Facebook. It's so cool. No one else can do this. Zoom caught up soon afterwards. And for the most part, even though most folks were giving me a hard time about using this. What's this Blue Jeans? Can't you have Zoom? Amazingly, I think if it weren't for one minor thing, I actually still prefer Blue Jeans. Just, I don't know, maybe I'm a kind of an old timer. I love the way it works. It has pretty much not failed me in the 4.5 years, but there's this one feature that if they just caught up with 21st century, it would have been so much better. Anyway, I needed to say that.
Yeah, no, and I get it. I like Blue Jeans too. I feel like it's a kind of an inside joke because anytime we have technical problems, we just blame Blue Jeans, and then Adam gets a little offended because we do like it. But the one thing that Zoom has, and this is a huge thing because it's especially what our clients wanted, was more connection and a community feel. So Blue Jeans, you can only see 9 pictures on your screen, and then you have to scroll over to see other people, where in Zoom, you might have smaller thumbnail pictures the more people you have on, but you can see. So if we have, our 10 to 15 clients on, we have a really good visual of who we are masterminding with and growing our businesses with. And that alone creates an experience that our clients wanted. And we too want. We want to be able to see everybody, see expressions. That also helps me as the enforcer kind of watch people while they're not thinking I'm watching them. And I can kind of tap into like if they're engaged, if they're not engaged, if they're needing something. And so just that aspect alone is why we made the switch, and it actually worked out really well.
Very cool. So again, if you're just tuning in, you are watching the Revenue Rev Up TV. Today we are talking about how to create virtual retreats and how to do it successfully that still create engagement and connection for your participants. Of course, as always, we would love to peddle a copy of my book to you for free. And all you got to do to earn one is share your takeaway from what we are sharing with you, something that particularly stands out for you, your aha, with a hashtag gold, GOLD. I think if I know how to spell it in English, very good. By the way, we like gold because AU for Adam Urbanski is actually what is it?
It's the scientific element for gold.
Element symbol. Thank you. I was looking for the word element. Yeah, it's the symbol for element, gold. So AUGOLD. There we go. All right. Let's talk a little bit about the process here. All right. By the way, folks, if you're listening to us, watching us, go ahead and share your ahas. We'd love to hear from you, chiming in. Alex here. Alex, long time no talk. Good to see you doing well. Beer at some point. All right. Yeah, definitely. If you want to do virtual events, you've got to stop shaving for at least 6 months. That's a requirement. Otherwise, you can't host one.
Oh, Bo, we didn't get that memo.
I know.
That's why you were not hosting, you were co-hosting. That's a different requirement, right?
Actually, I was the host.
Uh-huh. Talking about
In Zoom terms.
So to host, you don't shave. To co-host, you've got to actually grow hair on your head, which disqualified me. There we go. All right. All the fun aside here. So, the process, I think it's actually very important, right? Because how you structure this. So I want to show this again. If I can get to that little schedule that we had for each day, right? So you can see that we have a format, and a lot of it is teaching. But even in the teaching, if you go into the part where it says content details, you'll notice that we have things like setup and then solo and then group and shares, right? So even though the overall content is teaching, still within the teaching, there's breakouts in giving people some solo time to work, giving people opportunity to connect with a handful of other participants in a smaller subgroup. This is again where the platform choice is important, because not all the platforms will give you an opportunity to break your entire group into subgroups and then to keep those subgroups consistent throughout the entire retreat, right? So that's important. Another thing I want to highlight, like down below the lunch break, you see a thing called profit seats, right? Some people call it hot seats. We coined the term profit seats because while you might feel a little uncomfortable and squirmy and hot in them, ultimately they lead to more profit. So we like the term profit seats, which is always fun when new members come. It's like, what is a profit seat? What are we talking about here? It's like, well, we shower you with the advice how to create profit explosions in your business. But anyway, so profit seats, again, are kind of a different breed when we facilitate this, right? So very importantly, again, for example, when you start a virtual meeting and you want to have audience participation, make it expected that everybody is actually visible on camera. I know it might sound so obvious, but when people tune in, give them a time to figure out the techie things, like, hey, and maybe have someone available who behind the scenes can actually support them if they run into some issues. Not everyone is as techno-savvy as you might be, right? So always take that into consideration. What Lisa just talked about, we used Zoom, particularly so we can see all our participants on one screen, versus like Blue Jeans only gives us 9 squares, and it kind of makes it a little awkward because you don't see some people. The breakouts, Lisa talked about it. So I want to talk about this, speakers. It's nice, just like at a live event, it's nice to break up the pace, and you don't just have one person teaching all the time. It's monotonous. It's kind of like if I ran this entire show, you just hear my voice over and over, and you may not particularly like me that much. You may want to hear from Lisa Obomo, right? So that's important. But what's really important also, that time seems to go faster in a virtual environment. So the mistake I've made with speakers is actually, I've made many mistakes looking at our 2 retreats because we had several guests. One is not being stricter about their time limits. So like in the previous retreat, we had a couple of speakers that just went longer, and they wouldn't leave, and our audience loved them. But they just, okay, you got to go. We've got to go with our schedule. Like, well, let me show you this and let me do this. I'm like, okay, you got to go. We're going to kick you off of our platform. You don't want to be rude to your own speakers. They're showing up for your event. But it was almost like, all right, you got to go. Your time is up. So be stricter with this. Another thing is giving people clear instructions. And it depends on your event. Like our groups are highly advanced. So, we don't necessarily have a lot of tolerance for long-winded positioning statements or introductions, right? Or painting the story, like telling you why something is important. We already know that, right? Again, it's a little bit more sophisticated audience. We were looking for more specific how-to information, right? So again, setting speakers up for success by letting them know more about the audience, kind of what's anticipated, and maybe even doing some sort of a dry run with them, asking them to share maybe the outline in advance or something like this. In other words, do as much diligence as you can with speakers, especially if you haven't quite seen the presentations before. I think it's important, right? We kind of had to learn this the hard way. Lisa, you want to talk about the tech handling and having one person dedicated to that?
Yeah, that's really important for any event. I mean, even for our rev up games, we have weekly calls, and I'm the one that handles putting us into the Facebook group and, handling muting people if they're having some background noise, and same for our live events. And so what that does is help Adam stay really focused and in tune to what he's doing, and he's not distracted, because being present as the host is a key part of teaching your audience and getting the the main goal across the best way. So for this, it was our private retreat, and he really needed to stay focused at that high level, bringing them and delivering a value for them that they wanted and they expected. And if he was fiddling around with breakout rooms or anything like that, it would have taken away from that connection from him. And if you're, same with like other live events, I think that's really important for any kind of host to not have to do any of that. One thing Adam did fiddle around with was the music, which was a cool feature, but he did it during like a break. So that's kind of how we kicked off coming back. But after that, he was totally hands off for anything else other than his own slides. And again, even that could have been handled by someone else. But it was easy for him just, again, because it was a smaller group. But
Lisa, it's I really object that choice of word. There's this little button here that says remove, and I was so close to pressing it when you said fiddle around with music. Excuse me very much, but I was professionally DJing the event. All right.
True, and we were dancing, so it was a good DJ. You were a good DJ. I meant fiddling in the sense of like you had a little bit of your hand in the techie part of it. It was on point.
Which actually brings a very important point of making it fun. Yeah. And I was actually even thinking about this episode where I naturally switch into teaching mode. So even like with this episode, we have a bit of an outline in the background, and I'm going like, I just want to deliver as many nuggets as I can. Like, let's teach. But especially when you have a multi-day event, remember that people's brains get filled. So I think if you're having teaching sessions, remember that you probably can do about 15, 20 minutes, half an hour. If you're going into 45 minutes of teaching without breaks, people are getting really fried, really fried. And so you've got to break it up somehow.
Even if it's good content.
Right. You can only
even if it's awesome. Right? Say it again.
You can only take on so much, or learn so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about the three things really quick, or maybe two major kind of components. So one is actually three things. So one is music, right? I actually like the fact that in Zoom, which is another advantage, I think, for Zoom over other platforms, you can play sound from your computer. So I can actually take Spotify.
I love it.
Play music right into the event where everybody hears it, like not just like by me pointing microphone to the speaker, but actually goes through the system sound, which I think was pretty cool.
Cool.
Yeah. But I think everybody liked it, right? So pumping up the energy through good choice of music. Of course, our Move Like Jagger is our, trademark event anthem. Second thing is breaking people into groups and letting them discuss things, right? I think we did this very good. This was our second time. People loved it. And it's so fun to watch because, like first time where it's like a trial run, you break them into groups and they kind of dip the toes in. And you see when they see the notice, like to break up the groups, they sort of click and leave the little groups. But then as the event progresses, we have to violently like break up the groups and just yank them into the main room because no one is leaving. Like we give them notices, leave, like come back to the main room, and they go like, I'm staying here.
Yeah. Yeah,
right?
They love that
you
part.
See people engaging, that makes it very, very fun. And the last thing I want to talk about is actually creating some sort of fun. So we did a number of fun games. Like this one game, I'm going to show really quick a slide. What we did is let's play a game, guess who I am just by looking at 4 GIFs, right? So we asked people to upload 4 GIFs to a Google Doc, and that's kind of what it looked like, right? When people uploaded 4 GIFs, it says, guess who I am? And it was like, all right, how do we figure out who that is? We don't know, right? So that was kind of fun. You showed it one more time here, like this little clip it. And I figured it would be easy, and with a couple of people, I sort of could easily figure out. But with others, everybody was. I was actually surprised that it worked better than I thought. People got really engaged
Yeah.
and demanded to know, like, how did you choose your gifts? What's that all about? And it allowed us to get to know each member a little bit better.
Yeah. It
Yeah,
really
I
is a
liked it.
cool game with a smaller audience. And we also had the introductions where people were saying what kind of animal they would be. You can use it and play all kinds of different ways. And even in a larger setting by splitting people into groups. But it really is connecting on this personal level. I loved it. And we had like storytelling at some point where, somebody started the sentence and the next person added. So that was like a rather
crazy.
Yeah, that part got a little out of hand. I thought it turned out to be all like lazy alcoholics that just want to do nothing and drink margaritas. But the fun part is that it forced people to really pay attention to who's gone, who hasn't gone, and again, like really connect. Even if you have to say someone's name and kind of throw the virtual ball to them, it forces you to connect a little bit differently for a moment. And I thought that was the fun part.
Yeah.
Right? So, anything else on the actual facilitation and the actual delivery that we want to share?
No, I think that's it. I mean, one of the things is like letting them know how to request help. So like if they were in their breakout rooms, I told them for this group again specifically to message me on Facebook. It's a tight-knit group, so it worked. And I think just having some that support, letting them know how to get support while they're on is really important too, so that they're not wasting time, especially in their breakout rooms where we're not seeing everything that's going on, so that they get the most out of it.
I think one last part, coming back to the platform, that's important to mention that Zoom has this cool thing that when you break people, when we break our overall meeting into smaller groups, actually each person in the group can record that session for themselves, right? So that's very cool, because if you have like what we do, profit seats, where people are having 20 minutes where they get advised by the peers on solving one of the problems, well, they may want to. It's hard to remember, hard to take notes. So it's really cool if you can record this and then you actually rewatch this, kind of from a third party perspective, which is very cool to absorb the information, right? So I thought that's definitely an advantage to Zoom over Blue Jeans, right?
Yes.
I think that another thing that's sorry to interject, but having the questions or any kind of things that you're discussing and posting it in the chat. So Lisa, you were in charge of that. That I think that works very well. And if you can kind of prepare in advance, maybe put it also on the schedule. So you can easily grab it and post it in the chat room. That helps with the facilitating as well.
Yeah, and a lot of fun happens in chat too.
I was just going to say two more things. So chat is number one. And so very importantly, again, having someone who is like Lisa, you were amazing, right? Because you can multitask. So you kind of did this technology, coordinated all the things with clients, and were also probably more active in chat. And Bo, I think you were more active in chat as well. Personally, it's hard for me to like stay focused on the audience, on a topic, really hold the container, because even though it's a virtual event, when you're hosting it in terms of like you are the prime facilitator, I think that you've got to get into the energy where you've got to contain the energy of the group. You've got to kind of feel what's going on. Some people are disengaging, even in a virtual format, you've got to bring them in, right? So even like watching what's going on and mentioning someone's name from time to time, that requires a lot of bandwidth energetically. So try to get distracted by chat and other things, unless you like our unicorn client, Molly Mahoney, which she can do 77 things at once. For the more normal people, you probably need someone who can like take it off your plate. Last thing I wanted to mention, we usually do this, which is we ask our own clients to feature their genius, right? This is where we talk our genius talk. And again, people go like, what's the genius talk? And I always say it's like TED Talk, except better. So asking clients to talk about something they're uniquely good at. So Lisa, again, you talked about content creation and kind of the process you've got figured out on the inside. And then we had Megan, Hubert talk about her kind of stealth lunch technology using Facebook. Very, very cool stuff, right? So it's always fun to see clients showcasing the genius, right?
And quick plug, Megan will be our guest next week.
Right.
Exactly. All right. Pretty quick. We are talking about how to create successful virtual events. Love to hear your takeaways. Just comment with gold as a hashtag. And let's wrap it up really quick. Maybe about our mistress or mistress of improvement, Bo, you can talk a little bit about things we learned that we could do differently in the future.
Yeah, so really quick, have focus on more specific teaching and maybe following the rule that less is more or less is better. Sometimes the teaching can be overwhelming, so make sure that
I've learned that lesson for our show here.
Right. So, so make sure that you give people time to implement even during the virtual real event. Another one, and we already touched upon this, is setting better expectations for any type of speakers that you bring from outside, or even, like people who you are featuring in. What specifically you want them to focus on, and what is it that you want them to deliver, so that it's not like a runaway train and they do not take too much of the time. So controlling the time, that's another lesson that we learned. Some of the sessions would run away, and sticking to the schedule is good, but also allowing for some flexibility, but being able to control that. I think that this is a huge lesson. So with that, also, we are asking everybody to deliver their shares. And I think that what we can maybe look at is some way of signaling who wants to talk, like raising hand or posting a note in the chat. So for that, having somebody who manages the chat is very valuable. Thank you, Lisa, for doing that, because you are awesome with this. And monitoring the chat is just a job in itself. There was so much going on. I think that at some point, Adam, you said, wow, I didn't look at chat, and now it's 91 comments in there. There were a lot of comments. There was like a whole event happening in the chat.
Well, this on Zoom, at least for me, like at 99, the comments stop. It just showed 99, and that's it. I was like, "What's the 99 about? What's going on?" And it was like the comments were just running away.
And it was a relatively small group. They were just yapping in the chat, which is a good thing. But it also gives you an idea that it could be kind of somehow maintained. I don't know how, but maybe some thoughts for the future.
So one thing I wanted to come back to, I displayed this comment from Linda when we talked about schedule, right? So she says 45-minute, 15-minute break. So we actually chose to do it a little bit differently, where we go for about 70 minutes and give people 20-minute breaks. But in reality, like most sessions, my goal was actually to do about 60-minute sessions and give people as much as half an hour or as close to half an hour as possible in break time. And it seems like a lot, like, 50% break time and then, so an hour and half an hour break. It seems like a lot, but I think people actually need to step away from the computers, disengage and rejuvenate a little bit. So I thought it worked out well both times. Yeah. And I probably wouldn't change that.
I agree.
Yeah. So you have one more thing, and that's the technical part. So making sure that we can explore all kind of technical things. I think at one point we ran out of storage space on the cloud, and Lisa was luckily backing it all up on her computer. So we have all the sessions, and we were streamlining them into our Facebook group. But just paying attention to how much storage space you have, how you want to back up your recordings. What do you do with them at the end? Creating some spot where you store all those recordings. So these are all good lessons, good things that we learned that I observed. Lisa,
yeah, and on that.
I was going to say, I think we might have a wiener for our book.
Wiener.
Wendy, it's an insider joke for a wiener. Anyway, I love that comment, right?
Yes, Wendy.
30-minute breaks. Love that.
I was just going to add quickly, for Zoom, when you record, so yes, check your storage and monitor the cloud. It takes time to process the videos after you've ended your meeting. So that's a really key part. Like we would stop in between sessions, but stay on, and we would only get off of Zoom for lunchtime. So in between, it's trying to process, and then I would start the next recording. I'm not exactly sure how it looked on Zoom, but I'm guessing it was maybe similar. But on my computer, if I did 2 back-to-back sessions, the first one would not have finished processing. Then we would go into the next one, and I would record it to my Zoom or to my computer. And then after that was over, it would not automatically convert it because it was already converting the one before. So what you have to do is go into your documents wherever Zoom is saving these files, and you actually have to click it to start the conversion. So that was, it doesn't, at first I thought, oh no, maybe I lost it, but it actually just needs a little bit of a manual push to get it going. But yeah, that's one thing too that was a little bit of a bummer. But like Bo said, we have backups of backups, so that's helpful.
Love it. So one last thing for improvement for me, and it was said already, less is more, right? So and I noticed from so many years of teaching and speaking that when you think you've got 20 minutes of content, you end up with 40. And when you want to teach for 20 minutes but have 60 slides, it's probably a good indicator that you're going to go longer than 20 minutes. So again, less is more. But a very important, I think even more important lesson is clarity of instructions for your audience.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So I know that a couple of times where we sent people for the breakouts, I was not as clear as I probably could have been or should have been instructing them for what they were actually supposed to accomplish during those sessions. It ends up working okay because I think, again, our audience, very entrepreneurial, very creative. A lot of the times they ignore the instructions anyway and do whatever they want to do and make it valuable for themselves. So they're not kindergarten children. But I think it's important, like the more clarity you can provide, the easier the process will be for everyone, because you will always have a mixed audience where some people are very creative and go like, go with the flow, who cares? And some people will be frustrated if you don't give them good instructions to follow, right? So something to remember. All right.
Yep.
Well, any last takeaways you want to share before I kind of do a quick sum up for us?
Just that it was fun.
That it was fun.
So what's the plan for December? What do we think is happening in the world of events, Lisa?
I think everyone's staying virtual. And I think even as things start to kind of open up, we've already seen, at least here in California especially, they ground us right away and close everything back up. And I just think that there's a lot of caution, like Adam was saying, about people. And we have to respect all of the boundaries and what people are going through individually, not just with this, like COVID, but just with work. And now their kids are home doing school at home. A lot of them are, at least. So there's just a lot of other elements to take into consideration. And I really think that we're going to stay virtual for a while. And that even when we do go back, I think somebody in the comments said it, or maybe one of us, that it's going to be a hybrid. I think Linda may have said that. It's going to be a hybrid for sure, which is cool. I mean, I think while we might get a little frustrated because it's not what we want or what we're used to, it's really pushing us into creating this new normal. And we don't know what it's going to look like. But if we just stay positive with everything and look for the opportunities, I think we're going to actually see some cool things that come out of all of this.
We need to wrap up the fun.
I'm looking at this question from Bo. Like, what's with this question? Just send Wendy another copy. You never know when people run out of toilet paper again. All right, just come on.
I had an aha that we need to ramp up fun for our next virtual event, if we have the virtual event, which most likely is going to happen. And all the ahas from the breakout rooms have to be in the form of a song. I just decided.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Voice lessons.
my thought on virtual events, again, like looking at the decision whether to attend something right now or not, I think that we as event producers may inadvertently force people to make a decision that's hard to make, because like if it were just up to me, I probably would just go. But I'm realizing I've got to come back and I've got to deal with my elderly mom, right? And I can't just like disappear for 2 or 3 weeks and go into a quarantine situation, not supporting her, right? So, and then, and everybody else has family members, children, other adults, elderly people. But I think we force them to choose. So either hybrid events for people that can make the choice easily, or just for the time being, switching to virtual models. Again, I look forward to attending my first 2-day actual paid event where it's like back-to-back training with small breaks as a participant, just to see what it feels like. I have not actually attended one yet this year. This way, I've done this in the past, but now there was a choice. Now I'm forced. And by the way, this event does not provide recordings. So like, if you're not there, too bad, right? So you actually have to be the kind of a forced consumption. So very, very cool. Anyway, I know you got to wrap up. So really quick, I want to do this. If you're thinking of creating virtual events, and at this stage, it's not even if, but when, whether you do it to deliver what you promise to your clients, or do it to engage potential clients with you, whether you do it for a day or 2 day, there are some tricks to creating events that deepen the connection, really facilitate the engagement, and actually allow people to really learn who you are, what you can do for them, and develop the rapport and craving and for whatever else you might offer. So we just talked about 4 basic things. Number 1, really prep in advance, right? Prep and plan, which is all the decisions: when, who, what purpose, how are you going to facilitate this? And then one of the big decisions we made at the sub part of this whole process of planning is it's deciding on a platform, because the platform can make or break your event. So depending on what you actually want to accomplish, what kind of engagement you want to facilitate, you will need to decide, you will need to factor that in your decision for what platform to use. Number 3, the actual process of facilitation. So make sure that you allow room for people to do connect with each other in breakout rooms. It's not all just teaching. Make sure your schedule allows for plenty of break time where folks can disengage from their computers, relax a little bit, maybe go see some family members and come back and engage again. And very importantly, don't forget elements of fun. And like we talked about music, I think music makes people move. So even in the virtual environment, broadcast some music that pumps up the right energy into the environment. And finally, the last thing is, whatever you do, learn from it. You give yourself permission to make mistakes. We made plenty of screw-ups both times, and you just need to laugh, shake it off, and continue. Technology is amazing, but it's also unpredictable at times. So you will run into glitches and problems. Just run with it. If you make it a big deal, so will everybody else. If you just brush it off and go like, well, stuff happens, your members, your participants will roll right with you. So be prepared for those things, but don't take them too seriously. And very importantly, evaluate what went well, what can go better, and make sure you implement that for your next time around. All right. That's my take for the day. Ladies and gents, next week, we're talking about what, Lisa?
Launches. Successful, easy, and fun launches.
not your internet marketing daddy's lunches, like the 21st century, more elegant, more sophisticated, laid back lunch approach to using Facebook groups. So, ladies and gents, with Lisa Benavides, Bo Claudia Urbanski, and yours truly, Adam Urbanski, thanks for being here. Until next time, here's to success. Cheers.
Cheers.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.